Earth, a unique planet, restless and dynamic. Continents shift and clash. Volcanoes erupt. Glaciers grow and recede. Titanic forces that are constantly at work, leaving a trail of geological mysteries behind. Among Earth's many geological wonders, there's nowhere more dangerous than Mount Vesuvius. It's a volcano well known for its violent past, as witnessed by the remains of its victims, frozen in time for nearly 2,000 years. But Vesuvius is still very much alive, and only now are its mysteries being revealed. A new discovery of a vast magma chamber of boiling hot rock beneath Vesuvius. Just one of many startling new clues to how the volcano could threaten one of Europe's most crowded cities with a fiery rain of death and destruction. Unlocking the secrets of Vesuvius exposes the awesome forces behind how the Earth was made. The next eruption at Vesuvius could kill more people than any other volcano in history. 3 million lives are at risk. On the west coast of Italy, towering 4,000 feet over the city of Naples, stands Mount Vesuvius.
The death toll would be big, running into the millions. And so it really is the catastrophic nightmare scenario that we all fear.
The challenge for geologists is to figure out what could trigger Vesuvius's next eruption and assess how such a potential horror would unfold. The first catastrophic explosion would burst from the ground here, from the depths of the volcano's 2,000-foot wide crater.
Within seconds, the whole thing would be ripped apart.
It's the nightmare scenario that everyone fears. A cloud of fiery volcanic debris would blast down the steep sides of the volcano at 450 miles per hour, twice as fast as a Formula One racing car. Anyone within 10 miles of the crater would be caught in the eruption's death zone. Nothing could stop this boiling cloud of ash and rock.
Now, you might think that the people living across the water there in Naples would be safe from the volcano, but we know that that wouldn't be the case. It moves across the sea, picking up speed as it goes, not walking, but literally running towards Naples. Imagine the panic in downtown Naples as this hot, dark cloud of volcanic ash and dust descends on the city.
There's nowhere to hide. Men, women, and children are incinerated.
And the temperature's 600, 700, 800 degrees Fahrenheit. I mean, that's enough literally to boil the blood in your body.
Other victims suffocate. Anyone trapped between downtown Naples and the volcano is dead. Volcanologists had always believed that the city of Naples itself was safe from Vesuvius. They thought that even the volcano's biggest eruptions couldn't reach further than the city limits. A belief that was shattered by new research deep beneath Angevin Castle in the heart of Naples.
Wow, this is an extraordinary deposit extending from this level all the way up to this point, which makes it about 4 feet thick.
The layer Sheridan has found is an accumulation of ash that rained down on the center of Naples from a massive eruption in the Bronze Age, around 1780 BC.
It traveled 10 miles from the volcano across the Bay of Naples to this point.
miles further than any other previously known eruption of Vesuvius. Astonished scientists could not ignore such convincing evidence.
Finding a deposit right in the center of Naples has changed the way people think about their safety from eruptions at Vesuvius. And people are now considering that Vesuvius may truly represent a risk to their safety.
If Vesuvius produced such a massive eruption once, it can again. There's a further monumental-sized piece of evidence that reveals the awesome scale of the blast in 1780 BC. These are the 3,700-foot-high cliffs named Somma. It's 4,000 years ago on Mount Vesuvius. A colossal eruption rips the volcano open. Molten rock blasts out of the cone, emptying out the underground reservoir that geologists call the magma chamber. This continues for hours until something literally earth-shattering happens. When the magma chamber empties past a critical point, the entire mountain collapses in on itself to fill the void below. The 1780 BC eruption was so massive that it brought down a mountain and emptied 63 billion cubic feet of pulverized rock onto the surrounding countryside. That's enough to cover the whole of Manhattan Island to a depth of 100 feet, or bury the state of Florida in almost half an inch of ash. This mega eruption is now the blueprint for Naples' worst-case scenario. It's one of the factors making Vesuvius the most dangerous volcano in the world. And it's why scientists are racing to prepare for the next disaster. To investigate what deadly forces could be unleashed on the city of Naples, scientists must understand the eruptions of its past. And no explosion is better studied than the one that destroyed Pompeii, the Roman city that lay 7 miles southeast of Vesuvius. In the year 79 AD, an eruption killed 25,000 people, 1/4 of the population, and left the area uninhabitable for 300 years.
Behind me here is the very material which buried Pompeii.
The volcanic debris is made up of ash and an unusual white rock.
Really, first impressions are that it's really rather light. And if I get in a nice close look there, the rock itself is absolutely riddled with holes.
The holes were bubbles of trapped volcanic gas.
Now, this light white rock is called pumice. Now, pumice is magma that's filled with bubbles so much that it'll actually be able to float. And pumice is the only rock in the world that can float.
The trapped bubbles show exactly how the pumice was formed.
The magma beneath the volcano is a bit like the cola in a sealed bottle like I have here. We have liquid and dissolved gas.
If the pressure is released suddenly, the dissolved gas explodes out in the form of bubbles.
The bubbles in the cola have turned it into a froth, and this frothy mass that's coming out of the cola is just like in a magma chamber. When the gas escapes from the magma, forms a magma froth which violently comes out the volcanic vent.
So the discovery of pumice proves that the volcano created magma foam. And that can only mean one thing. The eruption must have involved a major explosion.
The explosion sent the magmatic foam and ash over 17 miles into the atmosphere. This is twice the height of your average cruising aircraft.
Amazingly, there is a surviving eyewitness account of the disaster written 2,000 years ago. Every detail of the eruption was noted by the 17-year-old Pliny the Younger, who was, in effect, one of the world's first volcanologists.
Pliny, a naturalist, produced the first scientific recording of a complete volcanic sequence. He writes, "A cloud was forming. Its appearance and shape would best be expressed as being that of an umbrella pine, similar to this large tree I have behind me. Since, stretched upward like an extremely tall trunk, it then spread out like branches."
So the cloud spread out at the top, forming a mushroom shape, which is still known as a Plinian column. For Pompeii,